This is pre-calculus. We're gonna study inverse trigonometric function this section. Previous videos, we studied graph of trigonometric function, sine, cosine, tangent. Now, how we're gonna define inverse trigonometric function? Let's just start with the inverse of sine x. What is the inverse of sine functions? Here is a notation of inverse sine x, sine -1 on the exponent, or you're going to say arc sine. We're going to read inverse sine of x or arc sine. That's how to read. This is how can read the inverse sine of x or arc sine. So how can define it? How can define inverse function? You have y equals sine x here. You're gonna interchange x and y. So that's x equals sine y. Then define y inverse function of sine y equal arc sine x or inverse sine of x. Okay, that's your defining. How can find the domain and range? Look at this sine function y equals sine x. As you see that this is a sine x graph, but we're gonna restrict it here. X is right there. X gonna be negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. So from based on this one, x gonna be negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. So y gonna be -1 and 1. That's the original sine x graph. But when you're talking about inverse function, you switch an x and y value. So that's why x equal -1 and 1, y equal negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. So when you see inverse function, this one is represent, guys. Make sure this one is represent angle. So x is inverse function of x. Domain is -1 and 1. Range is gonna be negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. So from the graph here is this section we're talking about. Here, first quadrant. The other section here, fourth quadrant, but not positive angle. We're gonna talking negative angle. That's how to define inverse sine x, guys. Keep in mind, the most important thing is y value, inverse sine x range is gonna be negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. We're gonna find the angle, quadrant 1, quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 should be negative angle. Okay, here is the example, guys. We are talking about arc sine, inverse sine, negative square root of 3 over 2. So this definition is we talk about here. Let's say this is gonna be theta y, whatever say. So what it represents this is angle. So this definition is, we see the previous one, sine theta is negative square root of 3 over 2. So this value, theta is restrict quadrant 1 and quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 angle is, this one is, should be quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 sine value is gonna be quadrant 4 because we're talking about quadrant 1 and 4. But quadrant 4, we are not using positive angle. So you make sure negative angle. Theta gonna be, let's talking about this way. First, you're gonna find the square root of 3 over 2. That's the pi over 3. That's gonna be negative angle. That's the negative. Don't write down the answer. Theta is gonna be 5 pi over 3. This one is gonna be coterminal angle, but we are not taking this one when you're talking about inverse function. Guys, very careful about this. How about second question? Guys, just take a time and think about inverse sine function, guys. Okay, let's go this one. Arc sine 1.5 is theta. So definition is sine theta is 1.5. Sine is positive quadrant 1. This is quadrant 1. So sine theta is 1.5 quadrant 1. Theta is pi over 6. Another very you should be careful with this arc sine is, let's say this is theta. So we're gonna change this form. Sine theta is 2. Can we have Sine theta is 2. No, it's impossible. No, because maximum sine is 1, so it's can. So no solution. So keep in mind the sine, arcsine wherever is quadrant 1 and 4. Quadrant 1 is positive, quadrant 4 is negative. Let's define inverse of tangent. Inverse of tangent is the same idea. So same thing, we're going to define it. But inverse is a little different from the sine. So here is tangent. Here is, we restrict the x interval is right there, guys. Negative pi over 2, pi over 2. This time it's not equal because that's the vertical asymptote. Another thing is this y value is going to, tangent y value here is going to be all your number. So domain of inverse tangent going to be negative infinity and positive infinity. So this part is going to be quadrant 1. So it's same thing is quadrant 1. We're going to take it. Tangent value is positive. Here is quadrant 4. That's the negative quadrant 4. So here is a positive angle. Here is a negative angle. That's you're going to find it. Let's talking about arctangent square root to 3. You're going to put this as a theta. Definition is tangent theta is square root to 3. Which quadrant? This is a positive quadrant 1. So theta is pi over 3. That you find it. How about this one? Arctangent minus 1 is theta. Definition is tangent theta is negative 1. Negative 1 is which quadrant? Quadrant 4. When you're talking about quadrant 4, angle gonna be negative. Theta is, when your tangent theta is 1, that's pi over 4, that put the negative. Don't ever put the positive angle when tangent value is quadrant 4, guys. That's the domain and range of arctangent. Let's do one more inverse trigonometric function. That's the cosine, inverse cosine, same rule. Cosine x, inverse cosine x, arc cosine. Here is a little tricky about the arc cosine. So look at this cosine graph right here, guys. So we're gonna restrict cosine graph is 0 and pi this time. Why? Because negative pi over 2 and 0, this one is cosine is a positive. So we're gonna restrict cosine gonna be 0 and pi, which meaning is quadrant 1 and quadrant 2, angle gonna be all positive direction. Guys, make sure you understand that. So x gonna be arc cosine domain is negative 1 and 1, same as arc sine. But range gonna be 0 and pi. Guys, get very careful with that. Arc cosine negative 1.5. That's gonna be, we're gonna put this as theta. So what is the definition of arc cosine? That's cosine theta is negative 1.5. This is quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 is cosine is negative 1.5. Gonna be theta gonna be 2 pi over 3. That's you're gonna find all the value of inverse trigonometric function, guys. So another example here, guys. Now we have composite of inverse trigonometric and trigonometric functions. So how gonna find this value when you see this one? So inside the bracket is arctangent. Outside is cosine. Which one you have to do first? Then bracket inside, right? When you see inverse, first step is you're gonna put arctangent negative 8 over 15 equals theta. That's the first step. We are talking about angle. We're gonna find the inside. Arc meaning is angle. So definition is tangent theta is negative 8 over 15. So tangent theta is negative. This is quadrant 4. Right? So you're gonna sketch this one, quadrant 4. So quadrant 4. Tangent definition is y over x. Which value is negative is quadrant 4. So this time, y value negative 8 and 15. So you're going to say y equal negative 8, x equal 15. So this point is going to be 15, negative 8. Guys, make sense? Now, look at this one. Now, you say arctangent is theta, then this one is changed. This is going to be changed cosine theta. That's what we're going to find it, guys. So we are looking for a cosine theta. Cosine theta definition is x of r. We need to find r. R is square root x squared plus y squared. What is x? 15 squared plus y negative a squared. That's going to be, you find the square root 289. This is 17. So cosine theta going to be x is 15, r is 17. That you're going to find it. Okay, let's do one more example right here. So what is we going to take a first step? Inside the bracket, this one is you're going to put something. Arc meaning is angle. So I'm going to put arc cosine, inverse cosine, negative 3 over 7 is theta. That's how I'm going to put it. Which definition of inverse? Cosine theta is negative 3 over 7. So which quadrant? Cosine is negative, is inverse cosine. We're going to talking about quadrant 2. Quadrant 2. So in the quadrant 2, okay? So what is the definition of cosine? Cosine theta, negative 3 over 7. So what is the definition of cosine is x of r. This one is r cannot be negative, which meaning is we write this form, guys. This one is negative 3 over 7, x equal negative 3, r equals 7. You find it. So right here, you know the x value, you know the r value. Now what do you have find it? Here, sine. Let's go into original. This one is sine inside the theta. We are looking for a sine theta. So sine theta is y over r. What do you need to find the sine theta? You need a y. How can find the y? Here is x, r. So we want to find r square is x squared plus y squared. R is 7 squared. 7 squared is negative 3 squared plus y squared. 49 equal 9 plus y squared. Y squared is 40. Y equals square root to 40. We are not taking negative because quadrant 2, guys, right? So you find the sine theta. Y is square root of 40, R is 7. That you're going to find it. Let's do the practice question. Okay, look at this one. This question is, this time, tangent going to be arcsine square root x squared minus 16 over x. How are we going to find this one, guys? What do you have to do first step? First, you're going to put arcsine square root x squared minus 16 over x equals theta. So then you're going to see tangent arcsine square root x squared minus 16 over x equal tangent theta. So based on this one, we're going to find the tangent theta. So arcsine meaning is sine theta is square root x squared minus 16 over x. So this case, we're going to sketch the right triangle. Let's just sketch right triangle, this one. Sine theta definition is opposite over hypotenuse, right, guys? So opposite gonna be square root x squared minus 16. Hypotenuse is gonna be x. Okay? So what are you looking for here, guys? What are you looking for? You're gonna find the adjacent, right? So you're gonna use x squared equal square root x squared minus 16 square plus adjacent square. So x squared equals x squared minus 16 plus adjacent square. So this meaning is here, cancel out, 16 is moved here, 16 equal adjacent square, meaning is adjacent, gonna be 4. So you find it, this is 4. So we are looking for the tangent theta, right? Tangent theta is opposite over adjacent. Opposite is square root x squared minus 16. Adjacent is 4. That's you rewrite this expression as algebraic expression.